Zakat on jewelry. Now, when people hear this, they think that jewelry is whatever a woman wears, and this is not what is meant in the books of fiqh. Jewelry here means jewelry that is made of gold and silver. So any other kind of jewelry such as diamonds, rubies, emeralds, precious stones, other metals are not included. There is no zakat in it without any dispute, as long as it's kept for adornment and for self keeping and possession, not for trade. But when we talk about zakat on jewelry, we mean gold and silver. So gold and silver that is made to save your money, to invest in it, this is zakatable without any doubt. Even if it was made on haram or for haram. I, as a man, cannot possess gold items to wear, such as a ring or a watch or cufflinks. These are prohibited for me. But if I do have them, I still have to give zakat. A woman who has a necklace on the shape of a living creature, like a snake or a swan or the likes, it's prohibited to have such statues, but there is zakat on it regardless. The dispute among scholars is in regards to permissible jewelry and whether it is worn by the women or not. And the most authentic opinion is that jewelry, gold and silver, whether worn by a woman or kept for safekeeping, zakat is mandated upon it. And the hadiths and the verse of Quran in Surah At-Tawbah chapter 9 is clear in that. The hadith where Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, came to the Prophet ﷺ, or the Prophet came to her and saw that she was wearing sort of jewelry made of gold, whether it's rings of silver or the likes, and they're quite large. So the Prophet ﷺ asked about it. What is this, Aisha? And she said, I had made them done for you, O Prophet of Allah, so that I can adorn myself for your sake. So the Prophet said, alayhi salatu, do you give zakat on them? She said, no. So the Prophet ﷺ said to her, that is sufficient share of the fire for you. And this is a clear evidence that zakat is due on such gold jewelry or silver jewelry. Another hadith where a woman came with her daughter who was wearing heavy bracelets of gold, and the Prophet asked the same question, and the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, do you give zakat on these? And she said, no. And the Prophet ﷺ said to her, would you like Allah to give you 2 bracelets of fire because of them? She took them off and gave them to the Prophet ﷺ. Now, a great misconception among the wives usually is that the zakat on her gold, jewelry or silver is mandatory upon her husband, not upon herself. And she says, I don't have any income. How can I pay zakat? So my husband is the one obliged to pay the zakat. And this is not true. The zakat is due on the owner of that gold or silver. If the husband is in crisis and needs money, the wife is not obliged to give him her gold. So she is the one who's obliged to pay. If she doesn't have an income or doesn't have cash, she has to sell some of it in order to pay this little amount of zakat every year. However, the vast majority of men are kind and generous to their wives. They usually pay this amount willingly, and that would be considered a gift without any problem. If we have gold or silver, but it does not reach the threshold, however, we have cash money, or we have goods that we trade in, can we combine? It's an issue of dispute. However, we do not, and I repeat, we do not combine gold to silver or silver to gold. And this is a given. So if I have 84, and we've mentioned this previously in a previous class, 84 grams of gold and 500 grams of silver, both did not reach the threshold. I do not combine them and give zakat. But if I have one of them, like 80 grams of gold and cash, then I have to combine them and give zakat on both. Or if I have 500 grams of silver and goods that I trade with, then I have to give zakat on both of them together and combine them together.